I should have known something was wrong when Vanessa asked me to meet her at the restaurant instead of coming to my place like always. Table for two, reservation under Cole, she told the host before I even opened my mouth. Cole. Her name. Not Reyes. Not the name she'd be taking in 2 weeks. I noticed it, but I told myself I was being paranoid. You look tense, I said, pulling out her chair. Everything okay with the wedding stuff? We need to talk, Daniel. 4 words. I've replayed them 1,000 times since, trying to find a version where they meant something else. Okay, I said, still smiling like an idiot. Talk to me. She wouldn't look at me. She was folding and unfolding her napkin like it owed her money. I don't think I can marry you. The restaurant kept going around us, silverware clinking, someone laughing 2 tables over, but my whole body just stopped. Is this a joke? I wish it was. Vanessa, we sent the invitations. My mom already bought her dress. We picked out rings. I know. Her voice cracked, but her eyes stayed dry. I know all of that, and I'm sorry, but I have to be honest with myself before I stand in front of 200 people and lie. Lie about what? Do you not love me anymore? That's the thing. She finally looked up. I do love you. That's not the problem. Then what is? She took a breath like she'd practiced this, like she'd rehearsed it in front of a mirror, or worse, in front of someone else. Ethan asked me to marry him. I laughed. I actually laughed, because for a second I thought it was absurd enough to be funny. Ethan Cole? Your friend's cousin Ethan? The guy who does the property thing. He's not just the guy who does the property thing, Daniel. His family owns half the buildings downtown. So this is about money. It's not about money. She said it too fast. It's about what my life could actually look like. Ethan can give me things you can't. I can give you a life, Vanessa. A real one. I work every day so we can build something. I don't want to build something for 10 years and hope it turns into something good. He already has it. I felt my hands go cold around my water glass. You're really doing this? 2 weeks before the wedding. I thought about waiting until after, pretending everything was fine, and I couldn't do that to you. So instead you're doing this to me. I'm being honest. You're being practical, I said, and the word came out like poison. That's what this is, right? Practical. She didn't deny it. That was the worst part. She just nodded, slow, like I'd finally understood the lesson she was trying to teach me. You'll understand eventually, she said. When you're not so angry, you'll see I made the smart choice. The smart choice. I shook my head, trying to laugh again, but nothing came out this time. Do you hear yourself? Daniel, keep your voice down. Everyone already knows, don't they? I looked around the restaurant, really looked, and I saw them, Rachel and Tom from her office, 2 tables away, not eating, just watching us with pity written all over their faces. Vanessa's college roommate near the bar, pretending to check her phone. How many people knew before me? Vanessa's jaw tightened. It doesn't matter. How many, Vanessa? A few, she admitted. I needed to talk it through with people I trust. I was supposed to be the person you trust. Her phone buzzed on the table. She glanced at it. I saw the name before she flipped it face down. Mom, you need to take that. I asked, bitter. I'll call her back. But it rang again immediately, and this time she picked it up like a reflex. Hi, Mom. A pause. Yes, I'm telling him now. Another pause, and I watched Vanessa's face go tight and small, the way it always did around her mother. No, his taking it fine. I wasn't taking it fine. I wanted her to say that. I wanted her to look at me and see that I wasn't fine at all. Put her on speaker, I said. Daniel, don't. Put her on speaker, Vanessa. She hesitated, then set the phone on the table between us. Diane Cole's voice came through, clipped and cool, the same voice that used to correct my table manners at every family dinner. Daniel, I assume you understand this is for the best. For the best for who? Diane. For Vanessa's future. You're a good boy, but good isn't always enough. Ethan can offer her stability, security, the kind of life she deserves. The kind of life you want for her, you mean, Don't be dramatic. This isn't personal. It's the most personal thing that's ever happened to me. Diane sighed like I was a child throwing a tantrum. Vanessa, call me later, she said, and hung up. I stared at Vanessa across the table, at the ring still sitting on her finger, and something in me just closed. I need to go, I said, standing. Daniel, wait. I need to go, Vanessa. I didn't remember leaving cash on the table, or walking out the door, or the 20-minute drive to her apartment. I just remember standing outside her building afterward, rain soaking through my jacket, the small velvet ring box still in my coat pocket where I'd been carrying it for 2 weeks, waiting for the right moment to surprise her with the upgraded band I'd secretly ordered. I looked up. Her light was on. I saw her shadow cross the window once, then stop. Vanessa! I called out. Vanessa, please. The curtain moved. She was there. I could see her standing just behind the glass, watching me stand in the rain like a fool, ring box clenched in my fist. She didn't come down. 6 days. That's how long I went without leaving my apartment. My phone sat on the counter, screen lighting up over and over, and I stopped bothering to check who it was. Work. Mom. Marcus. It didn't matter. I wasn't ready to be a person yet. On day 4, my mother let herself in with the spare key I forgot she had. Daniel. She stood in the doorway, taking in the takeout containers, the blinds shut in the middle of the afternoon. Oh, honey. I'm fine, Mom. You are not fine. Look at this place. I've been busy. Busy doing what? You haven't answered your phone in days. She sat on the edge of the couch, careful, like I might break. I talked to Vanessa's mother. I sat up. You did what? Diane called me. She said Vanessa feels terrible about how it happened, that maybe if you two just talked, calmly, you could figure something out. Figure what out? Mom, there's nothing to figure out. She's marrying someone else. People panic before weddings, Daniel. Cold feet make people do foolish things. If you just showed her you're willing to forgive. Forgive her for what? Choosing another guy's money over me? You want me to apologize for that? I'm not saying apologize. I'm saying talk. Fix it. There's nothing to fix. She's not confused. She made a decision. My voice cracked, and I hated that it cracked. She stood at that window and watched me stand in the rain. Mom. She didn't come down. I just don't want you to lose her over pride. I didn't lose her. I stood up, needing to move, needing to not be sitting still with this feeling. She left. There's a difference. My mother didn't understand. I could see it in her face. She still pictured Vanessa in her wedding dress, still pictured the life she'd planned in her head for both of us. It wasn't cruelty. It was just her own grief, wearing my face. I think you should call her, she said again, softer. I think you should go home, Mom. She left looking wounded, and I felt guilty and relieved in equal measure, which somehow made me feel worse than either on its own. 2 days later, Marcus didn't bother knocking. He used the emergency key I gave him 3 years ago for exactly this kind of situation, and I'd forgotten I ever gave it to him until I heard the lock turn. Get up, he said, flipping on every light in the apartment like he was raiding the place. Marcus, I'm not in the mood. I don't care what mood you're in. Get up, take a shower. We're leaving in 20 minutes. Leaving for where? Anywhere that isn't here. He picked up a container off the coffee table, sniffed it, made a face, and dropped it straight in the trash. This is disgusting, by the way. How many days has this been sitting here? I don't know. That's not an answer a functional adult gives. I'm not really feeling like a functional adult right now, Marcus. He stopped moving and looked at me, really looked, the way older brothers do when they're about to say something you don't want to hear. Mom told me she asked you to call Vanessa. Yeah. Don't. I wasn't planning to. Good. Because that woman didn't leave because you weren't enough. He crossed his arms. She left because she never saw what you could become. That's on her, not you. That's easy to say. It's true whether it's easy or not. He sat down across from me, dropping the tough guy act for a second. You've been playing small your whole life, Daniel. Good job, steady paycheck, never rocking the boat. She wanted somebody who already arrived. She didn't want to watch you get there. So what? I should thank her? No. You should prove her right about one thing and wrong about everything else. What's that supposed to mean? You're going to become exactly what she thought she needed somebody else for, and she's going to have to watch it happen from the outside. He stood up, done being sentimental. But first, you're taking a shower because you smell like a gym sock. I almost laughed. Almost. Get dressed, he said. We're going to see Grandma Ruth. Grandma Ruth's kitchen still smelled like cinnamon and old coffee, the same as it had my whole life. She took one look at me and didn't ask what happened. She already knew. Sit, she said, sliding a cup in front of me. Your mother called me crying about the wedding. I assume there's a story. Vanessa left me for someone else, 2 weeks before the wedding. Grandma Ruth didn't gasp, didn't reach for my hand, didn't do any of the things I expected. She just nodded slowly, like she'd heard this story before, in some other shape. You know, your grandfather did something similar to me. Not the same, but close enough. Grandpa cheated on you. He almost left. 61, I think it was. There was a woman at his office, younger, exciting to him in a way I wasn't anymore. She wrapped both hands around her own cup. I found letters. I could have burned this whole family down that week. What did you do? I got angry. Then I stayed angry for almost 2 years, even after he came back, even after he begged. I made him pay for it every single day, and you know what that anger cost me? What? 2 years I'll never get back. 2 years I spent guarding a wound instead of living my life. She reached over and put her hand on mine. Finally. Bitterness is a rent you pay on a house you don't even live in anymore, Daniel. Vanessa's gone. Don't keep paying to stay in a place she already left. I sat with that for a long moment, the coffee going cold in front of me. So what do I do? You get up tomorrow, she said, and you build something she'll have to hear about secondhand. I walked into the office Monday morning before anyone else, coffee in hand, and sat down at my desk like a man reporting for a different life. I wasn't going to call her. I wasn't going to beg. I wasn't going to burn anything down out of spite. Grandma Ruth's words kept circling in my head. You get up tomorrow and you build something. So that's what I decided to do. Quietly, without announcing it to anyone. Mr. Whitfield noticed before I said a word about it. Ray is. He stopped by my desk around 10, coffee mug in hand, eyeing the stack of drafts I'd already finished. You're here early. Figured I'd get ahead on the whole Ison project. You've been getting ahead on everything for 2 weeks straight. He set his mug down and studied me the way he studied blueprints, looking for the flaw before he looked for the strength. Everything okay at home? Wedding got called off. Ah. He didn't ask for details, which I appreciated more than sympathy. So you're drowning yourself in work instead of dealing with it. Is it working? Depends who's asking. He almost smiled. As your boss, I love it. As a human being who's been divorced twice, I'd tell you to be careful. Noted. Anyway, he tapped the folder on my desk. I've got something bigger than whole Ison. The city's putting out bids for a community housing complex downtown, affordable units, green space, the whole thing. It's the kind of project that makes a career if it's done right. My chest tightened. You want me on the team? I want you leading the design. He said it plain, like it wasn't a big deal, even though it was the biggest thing anyone had ever handed me. You've got the discipline right now. Don't waste it. I won't. Good. First concept meeting's Thursday. Don't make me regret this. He walked off before I could say anything else, and I sat there for a second just staring at the folder, feeling something I hadn't felt in weeks. Not happiness exactly, but momentum. Priya Shah leaned against my cubicle wall about an hour later, arms crossed, eyebrow raised. So you're the golden boy now, she said. Whitfield doesn't hand out lead projects to people who show up looking like they haven't slept. I've slept. You've slept like a man avoiding his own apartment, which is different. She pulled a chair over without asking and sat down. I heard about the wedding. I'm sorry. Everyone's sorry. I'm getting tired of the word. Fine. I take it back. I'm thrilled. Congratulations on the emotional devastation. That got a laugh out of me, the first real one in weeks. Better. I'm serious, though. Her voice softened, just slightly. You don't have to perform fine around me. I've got eyes. I'm not performing anything. I'm working. That's a kind of performing too, you know. Just a more socially acceptable one. You're always this annoying. Only to people I like. She glanced at the folder on my desk. The housing project. Yeah. Big deal. You nervous? Terrified. Good. Means you actually care. She stood up, straightening her blazer. For what it's worth, Daniel, you're better at this than you think you are. You just spent 2 years dimming yourself for somebody who never noticed the effort. That obvious. To everyone but you. She started to walk off, then turned back. Thursday's meeting. I'm on your team, by the way. Whitfield's orders. Try not to mess it up. No pressure. None at all, she said, already walking away. I ran into Tom, Vanessa's co-worker, the one from the restaurant that night, outside the coffee shop near my office a few days later. He looked uncomfortable the second he saw me, which told me everything before he opened his mouth. Daniel. Hey. He shifted his bag on his shoulder. Didn't expect to see you around here. Small city. I nodded toward the shop. You good? Yeah. Just, he hesitated. Look, I probably shouldn't say anything, but I figured you'd want to know. Vanessa's been telling people some stuff. About the breakup. What kind of stuff? That you couldn't handle real commitment. That things got serious and you kind of shut down, and she had to make the hard call to leave. He winced saying it. I know that's not what happened. I was there. Something hot rose up in my chest, fast and sharp. 2 weeks ago I would have grabbed my phone right there and called her, demanded she take it back, made her say the truth out loud to somebody, anybody. Instead I just stood there for a second, letting it pass through me like weather. You okay? Tom asked. Yeah. And strangely, I meant it. Yeah, I'm okay. You're not going to say anything to her? No. Why not? That's not fair, man. People are going to believe a version. Let them. I picked up my coffee. I know what happened. Marcus knows. My family knows. In a year, it won't matter what story she's telling people, because I'm not going to be the guy standing outside her window anymore. I'm going to be somebody she has to hear about. Tom looked at me like he didn't quite recognize me. That's actually kind of impressive. Grandma Ruth's words, not mine. I smiled. Tell people whatever they want to hear. I've got a housing complex to design. I walked back into my building feeling lighter than I had in a month, like I'd set something down I didn't need to carry anymore. It wasn't forgiveness, not yet, but it was something close to freedom, the choice to stop fighting a war that only existed in her version of the story and start building one in mine. Thursday's meeting came fast. I stood at the front of the conference room, Priya beside me, Whitfield in the back with his arms crossed, watching. My hands shook a little pulling up the first concept sketch. This is just a starting point, I said, but I want this complex to feel like something people are proud to come home to. Not just affordable, dignified. Priya nudged my arm, quiet encouragement. Whitfield nodded once from the back of the room. For the first time in a long time, I wasn't thinking about Vanessa at all. 8 months changes more than people expect. I stood on a stage in front of 200 people, holding a regional design award with my name engraved on it. And for a second I forgot how to breathe. The Willow Creek Community Complex represents everything this award was created to celebrate, the announcer said. Affordable, dignified housing designed with real heart. Lead architect, Daniel Reyes. The applause hit me like warm water. Priya was in the second row, clapping so hard I thought she might dislocate something. Whitfield stood beside her, arms crossed, but grinning in that rare way he only did when something actually impressed him. Backstage, a reporter caught me before I even got my jacket off. Mr. Reyes, this project's gotten a lot of local buzz. Any comment for our readers? Just that I hope it changes how people think about affordable housing, I said. It shouldn't feel like a compromise. It should feel like home. She smiled, scribbled something down, and thanked me. Small moment. But it was the kind of small moment that started turning into bigger ones. A feature article, then a segment on the local news, then my name popping up in industry newsletters I used to just read, never appear in. Jake called me 2 days after the article ran, sounding like he'd been sitting on gossip for a week and couldn't hold it in any longer. Bro, have you seen this article? Which one? Yours. You're famous now, apparently. My mom sent it to me like I personally know a celebrity. Hardly famous, Jake. Local famous. That counts. I could hear him grinning through the phone. Okay, but that's not even why I called. Why'd you call? You're not gonna believe this. He lowered his voice like someone might be listening, even though he was clearly alone. You remember Ethan Cole? My stomach tightened instantly. Yeah, hard to forget. So my buddy works at a firm that does business with Cole Properties. Word is Ethan's family business is in trouble. Bad trouble. Overextended on some downtown project, investors pulling out, the whole thing's apparently a mess. Okay. I tried to sound neutral. And, Jake said, dragging it out for effect, apparently things aren't great between him and Vanessa either. I sat down slowly on the edge of my desk. What do you mean, not great? I mean his family's not exactly rolling out the red carpet for her. My buddy said Ethan's mom called her just another social climber at some family dinner. In front of people. Damn. Yeah. Apparently the wedding planning's basically frozen. No date set, no venue locked in. 8 months and nothing. I didn't say anything for a second. Some ugly little part of me, a part one wasn't proud of, felt a flicker of satisfaction, warm and sharp at the same time. You still there? Jake asked. Yeah, just processing. I figured you'd want to know. Not gonna lie, when my buddy told me, I did a little dance in my kitchen. Please tell me nobody filmed that. No promises. He laughed. Anyway, thought you'd get a kick out of it. Karma's undefeated, my man. I told Grandma Ruth about it over dinner that Sunday, half expecting her to celebrate with me the way Jake had. She didn't. So Ethan's business is struggling, she said, stirring her tea slowly, and his family doesn't approve of Vanessa. Apparently. And how does that make you feel? Honestly, good. Vindicated, maybe. She set her spoon down and looked at me over her glasses, the same look she used to give me as a kid when I lied about finishing my homework. Careful with that feeling, Daniel. Why? I'm not doing anything. I'm not the one who caused it. No, but you're the one deciding what to do with it. She leaned forward. Bitterness doesn't always look like anger, you know. Sometimes it looks like checking on somebody's downfall every week, hoping it gets worse. I'm not doing that. Are you sure? Because you lit up telling me this story in a way you don't light up talking about your own award. She reached over and patted my hand. You spent 8 months building something real. Don't let her failure become your new hobby. That's just bitterness wearing a different coat. I sat with that, the truth of it settling uncomfortably in my chest. I hear you, I said finally. Good. Because the version of you I'm proud of is the one who won the award, not the one keeping score on somebody else's collapse. I found out later, through the same grapevine, that Diane Cole had started making comments of her own, quieter ones, the kind that don't get repeated as gossip but still get around eventually. Something about wondering if Vanessa had been hasty and hoping this Ethan situation works itself out before the family name takes any damage. I didn't feel triumphant hearing it, not the way I expected to. I just felt like a man standing outside a burning house he used to live in, watching from a safe distance, grateful he'd already found somewhere else to be. The after-party for the award was held in the same hotel ballroom where I'd given my speech an hour earlier, and I was standing near the bar with Priya, laughing about something Whitfield had said, when I saw her. Vanessa, standing near the entrance in a dark green dress, scanning the room like she was looking for someone specific. She found me. Is that? Priya followed my gaze and her whole posture changed. Do you want me to run interference? No. It's fine. You sure? I'm sure. I watched Vanessa cross the room, weaving between clusters of people who had no idea who she was, and I felt something strange happen in my chest. Not panic, not longing, just a kind of quiet alertness, like watching weather roll in from a safe porch. Daniel. She stopped a few feet away, glancing at Priya, then back at me. Can we talk? Alone? Anything you want to say, you can say here. Please. Her voice had that old softness in it, the one that used to work on me instantly. Just a few minutes. Priya squeezed my arm. I'll be at the bar, she said, giving Vanessa a look that could have cut glass before walking off. Congratulations, Vanessa said, once we were alone. The award. I saw the article. I always knew you were talented. Thanks. You look good, Daniel. Really good. I've been busy. I heard. Everyone's heard. Actually, you're kind of the story this year. She laughed, but it sounded thin. Whitfield Architecture's golden boy. What do you want, Vanessa? She flinched slightly at the directness, like she'd expected a longer runway before getting to the point. Ethan and I ended things. A few weeks ago. I heard. Of course you did. She looked down. His family never accepted me. Every dinner felt like an interview I kept failing. And Ethan wouldn't stand up for me, not once. I thought I was choosing security. Turns out I just chose a different kind of loneliness. I'm sorry that happened to you. Are you? She studied my face like she was searching for a crack. You don't seem sorry. You seem fine. I am fine. I made a mistake, Daniel. Her voice dropped lower, more urgent now. A huge one. I think about that night outside my apartment all the time. You standing there in the rain, and I just watched from the window like a coward. I remember. I always thought. She stopped, pressed her lips together, tried again. I always thought you'd wait. That no matter what happened with Ethan, you'd still be there if things fell apart. I don't know why I thought that. I guess some part of me believed you'd never really move on. There it was. The whole truth of her, laid out plain. She hadn't left because she loved him more. She'd left because she thought I'd hold the door open indefinitely, no matter how long she took to walk through it. I'm not the same guy who stood outside your window, Vanessa. I can see that. Her eyes were glassy now. I see it in the way people look at you tonight. Your brother's over there telling some reporter how proud he is. Your boss gave a whole speech about you earlier. And that woman, she nodded toward Priya, looks at you like you hung the moon. Priya's a good friend. Is that all she is? That's not what this conversation is about. You're right. I'm sorry. She wiped under her eye carefully, mindful of her makeup even now. I guess I came here hoping there was still something left. Some part of you still waiting for me to figure it out. There isn't. The words came out steady, not sharp, not cruel, just true. I don't hate you, Vanessa, I continued. I spent a long time being angry, and then I spent a longer time building something better than the anger. But I'm not the same man, and I'm not interested in going backward to prove a point or fill a hole in your life that Ethan left behind. So that's it? After everything, you just wish me well and walk away. That's exactly it. Her face crumpled slightly, like she'd expected resistance, expected me to soften if she pushed hard enough. That version of me existed once. He didn't anymore. I hope you figure out what you actually want, Vanessa. Not what looks good on paper, not what your mother approves of, what you actually want. I hope you find it. And if what I want is you, then I hope you find peace with not having it. Because I've built a life I'm proud of, and there isn't room in it for going backward. She stood there for a long moment, and I watched something settle in her expression, not anger, not quite grief either. Something closer to recognition, like she was finally seeing the man in front of her instead of the one she remembered. You really did become someone, didn't you? I always was someone. You just weren't looking. Marcus appeared at my side then, drink in hand, sensing the moment had run its course. Everything okay over here? We're done, I said, and I meant it in every sense. Vanessa nodded slowly, gathering herself. Take care, Daniel. You too, Vanessa. She turned and walked back through the crowd, smaller somehow than when she'd walked in, and I watched the door close behind her without a single part of me wanting to follow. You good? Marcus asked. Yeah. I looked over at Priya, who was watching from the bar with careful, unhidden concern, and felt something warm replace the space Vanessa used to occupy. Yeah, I'm good. I walked back toward my people, the ones who'd shown up for me in the rooms that actually mattered, and I didn't look back once. 3 months after the after-party, Whitfield called me into his office and slid a new folder across the desk. Riverside project, he said. Bigger than Willow Creek. Mixed use, downtown, your name on the lead line again. You trust me with something this size. I trusted you a year ago. You just needed to catch up to what I already knew. He leaned back in his chair. You've changed a lot this year, Reyes. Good change, I hope. The best kind. The kind that sticks. He tapped the folder. First meeting's Monday. Don't be late. Wouldn't dream of it. I walked out of his office feeling the same steady momentum I'd felt every day for months now. Not a rush, not an adrenaline spike, just a quiet, solid confidence that hadn't existed in me a year ago. My mother had dinner ready when I stopped by that weekend. And for once, there was no mention of Vanessa, no careful tiptoeing around old wounds. Marcus tells me the new project is even bigger than the last one, she said, setting a plate in front of me. It is. I'm proud of you, Daniel. I know I didn't always say the right things, back when everything happened. You were trying to help, Mom. I get it now. I just wanted you happy. I didn't understand that happy sometimes means falling apart first. She squeezed my hand across the table. You look like yourself again. More than yourself, actually. Like a better version showed up. Grandma Ruth helped a lot. She has a way of doing that. My mother smiled. You should visit her more. She talks about you constantly, practically brags to the whole church. I'll go by this weekend. Priya and I had started grabbing dinner after work most Thursdays, something that began as project debriefs and slowly turned into something neither of us named out loud. Nothing dramatic. No grand declarations. Just an easy kind of closeness that felt earned instead of rushed. You're smiling at your phone, she said one Thursday, sliding into the booth across from me. Should I be worried? Whitfield approved the Riverside budget. Oh, so it's a work smile. Disappointing. She grinned anyway. For a second I thought maybe someone finally asked you out properly. Is that an offer? Depends. Are you accepting applications? For you? I'd waive the interview. She laughed, and something about the easy warmth of it made me realize how far I'd come from the man standing in the rain outside an apartment that never opened its door. I wasn't chasing anything with Priya. I wasn't performing recovery for her benefit. It was just simple, unforced, real, the opposite of everything the ending with Vanessa had been. The message came on a random Tuesday night, almost a year to the day since the restaurant. Hey, I saw the Riverside announcement. Really impressive, Daniel. I know things ended weird between us, but I was wondering if we could catch up sometime. Coffee? Maybe? No pressure. I read it twice, waiting to feel something, anger, longing, even curiosity. Nothing came, just a flat, quiet stillness, like reading a headline about a country I used to live in but didn't recognize anymore. I set the phone down and didn't type a response. Not because I hated her, not because I needed to punish her with silence, just because I didn't need anything from that conversation anymore, and for the first time, silence didn't feel like avoidance. It felt like peace. I drove out to Grandma Ruth's that weekend, blueprints for Riverside rolled up under my arm, and spread them across her kitchen table the way I used to spread out homework as a kid. This is the one that's got Whitfield so excited, she asked, adjusting her glasses to look closer. Should be finished in 2 years, if everything goes right. It's beautiful, Daniel. She traced a finger along the sketch of the courtyard. You built all this yourself, you know. Nobody handed you this. I had help. You, Marcus, Priya, Whitfield. Help isn't the same as building it for you. You did the work. She looked up at me, her eyes soft but sharp underneath, the same look she'd given me over coffee almost a year ago. Vanessa sent you a message, didn't she? How'd you know? Your mother mentioned it. Wanted to know if you'd responded. I didn't. Good. She patted the table beside her. How does that feel? I thought about it honestly before answering. Quiet. Not angry, not sad. Just done. That's what closure actually feels like, you know. Nobody tells you it's this boring. Everyone expects fireworks. I laughed, sitting down across from her, looking at the blueprint spread between us, the shape of the next year of my life, the next building full of people who'd never know the story behind the man who designed it. You remember what you told me that day in your kitchen? I asked. About bitterness being rent on a house you don't live in. I remember everything I say. I'm old, not senile. I think I finally understand it. I stopped paying rent on that house a long time ago. Grandma Ruth reached over and patted my hand, the same gesture from a year before, except this time there was nothing to fix, nothing broken to smooth over. Just pride, plain and simple. You didn't win by getting her back, she said. You won by not needing to. I looked down at the blueprints, Riverside, my next chapter, drawn in careful lines that had nothing to do with anyone but me, and understood, finally, that she was right. The best revenge was never revenge at all. It was building a life so full that the person who left became nothing more than a footnote in a story that had gone on, beautifully, without her.